Hello, welcome to Notts Today. The sun is shining all across our county and there's lots been happening too. I'm Al Booth. Here's what's on the show for you tonight. First, we've been to a literal close-knit group. They're looking to get people talking through all things woolly as the Knit and Natter returns to Notts as part of Mental Health Awareness Week.
But you have something in common with them, and so it kind of gives you that open door to start the conversation but let you go way further than you would have otherwise.
And speaking of Mental Health Awareness Week, a brand new podcast which focuses on helping Notts listeners has just launched. The Not Alone website has been supporting people of all ages across our county. Now a new podcast will bring to light honest conversations with local professionals, sharing advice and breaking down stigmas that surround mental health. Hosts and founders Dr. Maddie Papula and Dr. Orla Green will join me on the sofa to tell us more. We're also going to hear from disappointed residents as the battle to open Sherwood Library continues.
That's what Sherwood needs, and that's what every community in Nottingham needs. Every community in Nottingham needs a library.
Also, you're going to be hearing from the new leader of Nottinghamshire County Council. Yesterday, Reform UK announced that Mansfield East Councillor Mick Barton would be leading the authority after the party secured the majority of seats in Oak House after the elections earlier this month. He will formally be confirmed as the leader at the full council meeting next week. And in sports, a shock for Nottingham Forest as striker Taiwo Awoniyi underwent urgent surgery last night. The Nigerian international collided with a post during the Reds' clash against Leicester City on Sunday. That caused an on-pitch discussion between club owner Evangelos Marinakis and head coach Nuno Espirito Santo. The owner was upset the player was not substituted off after receiving pitchside medical attention. Now, as you may already know, this week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and one farm in Nottingham is holding monthly knit and natter sessions with the aim of getting knots talking. Whether you're an avid knitter or a complete beginner, anyone is welcome to attend and have a good old chat. Lucy Marshall went along to today's session at Stonebridge City Farm.
You probably know Stonebridge City Farm for its furry friends, but today it was home to Nottingham's knitters and natters. The group meets on the second Tuesday of each month to swap patterns and knitting tips over a cup of tea and to have a much needed chat. Today, on its opening morning, Stonebridge's Knit and Natter has already gone global, bringing together people from all over the world. Emily Birch is originally from Australia's Gold Coast but now lives in Nottingham. She's used social events like this one to connect with others, and today she's knitting a teddy bear to send back to her friend's newborn back in Queensland.
It gets you talking to people that otherwise you wouldn't have a chance to talk to, but you have something in common with them, and so it kind of gives you that open door to start the conversation but let you go further than you would have otherwise. Everyone is welcome to come, and even if you're a beginner or to making your own lacy coat, it's all for everyone. I think that actually having something physical to use allows you to have that sense of slow satisfaction instead of that instant gratification that something like, say, playing a video game will give you, because it doesn't take the effort and it doesn't give you the long-lasting reward and something that's going to stay with you through that time.
Everyone is welcome to attend sessions, no matter their knitting ability. The main aim is to get Nottingham talking. According to mental health organisation The Priory, approximately 45.8 million adults report experiencing symptoms for common mental health problems like anxiety and depression in any given week in England. And with this week being Mental Health Awareness Week, organiser Lisa Thompson is keen to share the importance of both knitting and nattering.
I think she can knit at home, you can knit, but then you're by yourself. So to come to something like this, you can sit quietly and knit and listen. You can do the conversation, and I think you can sit there and listen for a start, and then suddenly it could bring you out to start having a conversation with people.
It might not be the sole answer to tackling mental health struggles, but our communities becoming closer knit is certainly a step in the right direction. Lucy Marshall for Notts TV.
Right, let's see what else is happening in Notts today then. And a handyman has been jailed after he stole valuable items from the home of a terminally ill man. Clifford Tetley of Walden Close in the Meadows had been employed by the man's family for several years, and then he broke into the victim's home in March last year. Tetley waited until the victim had been admitted into hospital. Then he took jewellery, clothing, several bikes and bank cards. After noticing several missing items, the family suspected Tetley due to his inside knowledge of the home. He was subsequently charged with burglary and attempted burglary, handling stolen goods and multiple counts of fraud by false representation. Last week at Nottingham Crown Court, he pled guilty to all charges and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Mansfield East Councillor Mick Barton has been named as the new leader of Nottinghamshire County Council. Barton has been a councillor on Mansfield District Council since 2003. He defected to Reform UK along with 2 others last year. Although he was only elected to the County Council earlier this month, Barton says it's a privilege and a pleasure to lead the authority and says the party must deliver on the promises to the county. Now to meet our guests for the show. Not Alone is a Nottingham partnership with Nottingham County and City Councils and Nottingham NHS, and it's hoping to help even more people with their mental health by launching a brand new podcast. Not Alone is there for people across the county to offer support through their website, notalone.org. But now, to commemorate Mental Health Awareness Week, the founders have just launched the Not Alone podcast, and that's to talk directly to even more people. Here are the hosts and the founders, Dr. Maddie Papula and Dr. Orla Green. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Congratulations on your new podcast.
Thank you very much.
How did it come about then? Because the website, you've been on the show before and we've talked about it. It's a brilliant thing. How did the podcast come about?
We wanted to speak to more people and we wanted to have more people involved in the conversation. So speaking to people like yourselves that we've been connecting with and people who've been listening and talking about what we do. Other people encouraged us to do it. We said we'd give it a go, and we're really enjoying it. And the thing that's great is we're starting to get guests on from local services who've been coming in and talking about themes. It's really good when it's just you and I, Maddie, isn't it? But it's great having that guest in there as well. Different voices, different things going on.
Yeah, we just want to connect with as many people as possible. I think that's the key thing. We want to talk about mental health. We want to make it very real.
Yeah.
I think the key thing for us is that we really have that connection, the human connection with people. You know, we're both psychologists, and there's a lot of words within the mental health world and the psychology world that, you know, I think and myths that need dispelling and that kind of thing, that we really want to just make it something that anybody can listen to and connect with. We talk a lot about parenting, don't we? You know, just being parents, your mental health as a parent, as a parent, you know,
takes a battering, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we're really trying to bring all of the kind of topics that we have to life, you know, make it accessible.
So it all stems from Not Alone website, which obviously you founded as well. Just tell us a little bit more about the website as well, because you're going to be here for the whole show to talk about everything mental health as well.
So Not Alone is a website with information, advice and support services for mental health for people of all ages across Nottingham, and it's all in one place, so you can log on to Not Alone with any issue that you have around mental health, any questions you have, and you can find videos, information, links to websites, and you can also click the Get Help Now section and it will take you to local services that you can go to in person, you can go to online chat, you can speak to them on the phone, and they can give you mental health support, therapies, advice, communications, chats, whatever works for you.
It started off just as a website for young people. So we developed it. It was during COVID, wasn't it? And it was based on some research that we'd had from young people who said that they found the world of mental health services really confusing. In terms of, you know, what support do you get if you feel like this, and what support do you need if you feel like this. So we kind of got our heads together and said, all right, well, let's develop a kind of single point of help for people in Nottingham, and we wanted it to be a really useful local resource. So we did that. We launched it for children and young people, and then down the road, so it was last year, we launched it as an all-age website. So now there's the podcast,
we
have
the
brand,
podcast.
the Not Alone brand.
Yeah, it really has become a brand. It's really cool and exciting.
How did you find recording it? Like, what was it like to host a podcast?
It was daunting, but when we got into it, it was fun. Yeah, it was. I think we've just very much kind of based it on us just being ourselves. Just being very natural. There's a lot of
beeps where I've been swearing.
I was very natural, then, all right.
But you know, but I think just because it's just a very natural conversation, it's been quite easy. Like we've found it quite easy to just let ourselves flow and talk.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
That is the thing we want to model in the podcast. A conversation. Anyone can have a conversation about mental health. It doesn't have to be a psychologist. It doesn't have to be in a clinic. It doesn't have to be really technical and specialist. And we want to try and have those really normal human conversations about some really tricky things.
Yeah.
And if one person listening feels like they can talk to someone about something they're struggling with, or if they've noticed someone that they know is struggling and they feel like they can talk to them just from listening to our conversations, we'll be really, really happy, won't we?
Yeah, for sure. We've developed this as a local resource, hence the name. But we really want the podcast to be for anybody.
Yeah, well, the topics are universal, aren't they?
Absolutely, and anyone can tune in to what we're saying. And although Not Alone is a local resource, we see this as a podcast for anybody who, you know, who wants to listen to topics around mental health. You might be struggling with your mental health yourself, and you think, oh, you know, that's something that I'm attuned to. We just did one. The last one that we've recorded is around school attendance.
Well, that's actually, you're going to be here for the whole show,
Yeah,
aren't you? So you're going to be here next. We'll talk a little bit more about the podcast, and we'll talk about, school and parenting as well, mental health, because it is Mental Health Week, all that going on. We'll have more from the two doctors and presenters after the break. Hello, welcome back to Tuesday's Not Today with me, Al Booth. Thank you for being here. I know it's really sunny outside, so if you're watching this inside, thank you. So shall we see what's going on in Nottinghamshire then? Staff at the University of Nottingham have said they're prepared to take industrial action unless bosses don't rule out compulsory redundancies. Last month, the Russell Group University announced it was considering reducing its workforce by more than 250 roles, as well as 98 vacant posts, as part of the first phase of its new cost-cutting programme. It's led to a majority of universities' union branch to signal support for potential strike action. In a statement, the university has said the sector is grappling with falls in revenue and financial challenges. They also said a voluntary redundancy scheme has been opened to avoid as many compulsory cuts as possible. And a new CCTV van has been helping officers catch wanted criminals and youngsters causing antisocial behaviour across the county. The £130,000 van has a 360-degree camera mounted to a telescopic mast. So far, the camera has located a number of wanted offenders in the city centre, and it's also led to a recall to prison. The van also helped neighbourhood police teams track down up to 40 young people who'd been entering derelict buildings to cause criminal damage. Inspector Gordon Fenwick says the van's ability to video record evidence is vital to catching those causing harm to the community. Now, we continue to talk about the ongoing struggle to reopen the much anticipated Sherwood Library. The refurbished library was due to open last summer, and then it was delayed to around Christmas, and then again it was meant to open this summer. It's all been delayed due to an estimated 60 defects that were needed in fixing, and those issues are still persisting. But this week, campaigners issued a petition to the authority to have the library open by mid-July. Well, we've been out to speak with locals about the impact the library's continued closure has on the community and if they think the site will be open by the campaigners' expected deadline.
Important part of the Sherwood community. It's been here for years. It was part of my childhood growing up. I used to go to this library in the 80s and 90s. And it's very sad if we don't see it. I know a lot of us are waiting for it.
But I know there'll be a lot of mums with children and people that like reading books will miss this because they'd have to go Arnold. I think they've got a library in Arnold, but not everybody wants to make the journey, do they?
You know, people have meetings, workshops, source of information, as well as a place to go and use computers if people don't have the internet at home, and obviously a place where you can read. Which is something we all need to do more of and get off the screens. But it's a community hub, and that's what Sherwood needs, and that's what every community in Nottingham needs. Every community in Nottingham needs a library.
Now, I'm very pleased to say that the host and founders of Not Alone, Dr. Maddie Papula and Dr. Orla Green, are still here on the show. They've launched their new mental health podcast, and they can offer help and advice with our mental health. So we're going to chat to them a bit more. Thanks for sticking around. Our guests don't usually stick around, they're straight out the door, so it's nice.
We're usually whispering as we go out the door, even though we don't need to whisper, aren't we?
Yeah, that's how it works. So you're here because it's Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yeah.
What's that about? Is it good to have a Mental Health Awareness Week? What difference does that make?
Do you know, we were just saying, weren't we? So like, what's the point? What's the point of having an awareness week? And I think that if you are struggling with your mental health, or you know you've been thinking about getting help, or you're not sure what help might look like, for example, I think you probably are more likely to do so if there's something that's pertinent in the media, if it's being spoken about. It just normalises it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It normalises the idea that we all have mental health.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you say that word and people automatically go to this place of like anxiety, depression, but mental health means happiness, it means joy, it means, you know, it's all of the emotions and feelings that we have as humans. And I think talking about mental health and getting help normalises it, and then you are probably as a human more likely then to reach out and get help. So I guess what's the point of it? Well, I guess that's it, isn't it? You know.
I think it's about starting a conversation as well. You know, on in the media this week, people will be doing things in schools, people will be doing things in their workplace, just talking about the topic. And if someone just hears that and thinks, oh, there's other people out there going through the same thing as me, I don't feel alone, I think I can have a conversation about it, and they reach out and ask for help, then I think it's done its job. And ultimately, what is it about? It's about people who need help being able to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, it's handy that we're in Nottingham, so you can call it Not Alone.
Yeah.
But that's entirely it, isn't it? And it's, you know, I talk about my own, I had diagnosis for depression, and then in February I had diagnosis for ADHD, and that all came about from hearing other people's conversations and going, well, hold on, that's me, that's a bit of me. And then you go down that path. So it is about knowing you're not alone.
Yeah, I think it's the most important thing. We talk about this a lot. I think we've talked about it in the podcast, actually. It's this idea of psychological partners in life. So life experiences shared with somebody else. And sometimes that doesn't need to be a therapist or somebody with, you know, a skill set. It's about having, and you'll know this yourself, and about your team. You know, you have a team around you of people that help you through life, through challenges. And actually, when you look at, you know, the evidence around, for example, like traumatic events, you know, when something terrible happens, actually the biggest factor in resilience is just your closest relationships. And having people to talk to and not being by yourself. And that's innate in humans, that we're wired to connect, right? We're wired to, you know, to be social beings, etc. So I think it's important that message is there, that you're not alone and to reach out.
I think there's a lot of things in modern life that cause us anxiety and stress as well. And I think it's really important for people to understand that if you are feeling stressed or if you are feeling anxious, it's okay to not be okay. You know, it's part of being a human. You know, we're not all just going to be happy all the time. We're not always going to be successful. But the key things that protect mental health are actually things like hope, things like connection with other people, things like kindness and gratitude. So it's not always about positivity, but it's about strength and having meaning and understanding what's important to you, what do you enjoy, what do you turn to when you have tough times. And I think that's where mental health and resilience is. And actually sometimes being more open and honest about that, rather than saying, actually I'm brilliant, I'm really successful, I've got a promotion, I'm really rich. Actually saying, I've had a really tough time, but you know what really helped me? Spending time with my dog, being outside, and you know, spending time with my friends. That's what mental health and resilience is, that just getting through it, being human, the messiness, the grittiness. And that, I think, is something that really resonates with people when they do reach out.
Do you know as well, I think we do live in a wilderness society now where it's almost become the norm to like be really busy, and do you know those kind of things that we almost like take as being strong.
Yeah.
Do you know, being successful as well? Like, especially
Being
I think
burnt out's a good thing, isn't it? It's that sort of-
it's almost celebrated.
Yeah,
like
it's
you know, the more kind of busy you are, the more things you're doing, the more successful you are. And I think for me, especially as a woman, as a mother, and for any parent as well, juggling life right now in a quite an individualist society that we live in, it's really hard.
The juggle is real.
The juggle is real. We're literally saying this one. Like I was like late in the traffic trying to get her on time. You know, my 4-year-old at home, and it's really, really tough. And I think we don't talk about that enough for sure, because there is this kind of idea that we should be able to just manage it all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Especially
okay if you're not
social media.
managing. Yeah, exactly.
You only put the good bits on social media.
Oh my god, the perfect Instagram life. And that perpetuates it, doesn't it, as well?
Completely.
Yeah, perpetuates it for people. So.
Well, thank you for being on the show. I know you've been here for two parts. You've been here for like a whole series, I think. But so your podcast is out now.
It's out now.
Yeah.
Wherever you get your podcast from, it's out now.
It's
not
live.
a live podcast. It's live.
It's
Please
live.
listen, subscribe.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And also the website as well, notalone.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thanks for having us.
Right, let's have a look at sport now, and we'll start with Nottingham Forest. Taiwo Awoniyi underwent urgent surgery last night. This morning the club announced the 27-year-old Nigerian international needed surgery on Monday night after an abdominal injury he sustained during the 2-2 draw with Leicester City. He collided with the post in the second half and carried on after receiving treatment, but after the game he was given urgent medical treatment. And it was the injury that led the club owner Evangelos Marinakis to go onto the pitch out of concern for the player. He was unhappy the striker wasn't substituted after the injury. Nottingham Panthers forward Ollie Betteridge has signed to return for his 10th season for the club. The 29-year-old first strapped on his skates as a junior back in 2011. He's then made 537 appearances for the Panthers. He's a 2-times playoff champion, and he says he's thrilled to return for his testimonial season and can't wait to build on the foundations of last season's success. Head coach Danny Stewart has also praised Ollie's return, saying his speed and tenacity are his greatest qualities. Right, cricket. Batter Ben Duckett has signed a contract extension as well. He's going to be there till the end of the 2027 season. He's played for Notts since 2018 and has scored more than 5,500 runs for the club, helping them win the 2020 Vitality Blast title, as well as the County Championship in 2022. He's also gone on to play for England, and he's going to be joining the squad later this month at Trent Bridge in their test match against Zimbabwe. The 30-year-old said that the decision to extend his time at Trent Bridge was a no-brainer. Right, it's time for your photo of the day now. Look at this nosy goat, look at it. Couldn't resist the camera. Everyone wants to be famous, eh? Taken by our very own Lucy Marshall after her trip to Stonebridge Farm to see Knit and Natter Club. Let's look at your weather now. It's gorgeous today, isn't it? High 23. Dropping to lows of 8 overnight. Tomorrow, it's still going to be sunny, but we're going to have highs of 20, which is technically cooler, but it's still going to be quite nice, isn't it? Thursday, it's going to be a slight drop in the warm temperatures. It's going to be highs of 19. There will be some sun. We'll see a cloud in the sky and a light breeze, but that's not bad, is it? You need a bit of that. Thank you for being with me today. Just a reminder, tomorrow night, it's been a week for Forest, we're going to have Team Talk, and then Mark Dennison's here before that for more Notts Today at 5:30. See you soon. Bye-bye.